Hey everyone, so in today's video we'll take a look at two games that get compared a lot, Bloxburg and The Sims 4, and we'll look at 16 differences in those two games. So let's start with the most basic one. Let's get the first one out of the way. First one is you are the player. So a big difference between The Sims 4 and Bloxburg is that in Bloxburg you play as the character. You are basically the main character and you can't really create a character. You can go into the closet, you can change your outfit, but you are still a character and you play as yourself. In The Sims, you make a character and you play with that character, not as that character. So you basically give tasks to that character, and you can also make multiple characters compared to Bloxburg where you only have you. So that's a big difference to start with. Then number two, and I think that this one is very important to mention, no money cheats. So this is quite a big difference between The Sims 4 and Bloxburg depending on how you play the game. But in Bloxburg there are no money cheats. You have to get everything yourself or you can buy money, compared to The Sims where you either have your Sims work and then come back with money, or you do a money cheat. Now, if you find a money cheat in Bloxburg, you will get banned. I will get back to that. If you do a money cheat in The Sims, that is completely legal. You can do whatever you want. You can play however you want. And if you want your Sims to be a millionaire, you can go ahead and do that. Compared to Bloxburg, where a lot of people are struggling to get by. Then number three, also a very important one, and that is custom content. So on Bloxburg, you get the stuff you get. There is no additions to it. So you have the couches you get. You cannot add any more to that if you wish to do so. However, a lot of people use basic shapes to create their own hacks, kind of. Like some people make custom couches, custom beds, custom tables. It is really hard and expensive to do. While in The Sims, you can actually go online, look up the furniture you want, download it and add it to your game. So there's a lot of people that create stuff for The Sims. If you are looking to get more variety in furniture, I think The Sims might be right for you, because in Bloxburg you are stuck with the furniture you get. You cannot download any furniture, but you can try and make some hacks. They will never look as good as normal furniture. Well, most of the times a lot of people are actually really good at that, but they are a lot harder to make. Number four, online versus offline. So Bloxburg, everything is online. You join a public server or a neighborhood. Even if you go to your neighborhood, you are still playing online. That's because of the way Roblox works. So Roblox is a platform. If you don't play Roblox and you just come from The Sims, Roblox is a platform with a lot of games on it that developers have made. Bloxburg is one of them. So you have to play online. You have to play on Roblox. So that also means if you plan on doing a hack anyways, that you can get banned nonetheless, because you are always online when you play Bloxburg, compared to The Sims that you can play offline if you wish to do so. There's not really a world where you can check out other players' builds while they are also playing in The Sims, so that's kind of a miss. I mean, it would be amazing to see that in The Sims 4 as well, where you could go to a public community or something, or a public city, and you could load in your apartment or your house. I think I would love to see that, but you can do that in Bloxburg if you wish to do so. And may I please remind you to subscribe, because only 17% of the people who watch this video are actually subscribed, and it would mean a lot if you would just hit that button. Thank you very much. Then number five, Bloxburg is a lot cheaper. So basically, the base game for Bloxburg is 25 Robux. That translates to about 25 cents. When it comes to euros, that would probably be like 30 cents. If you want to buy The Sims and it's not on sale, you have to pay $40 or 40 euros to get the base game. And the base game does not come with a lot, especially The Sims 4. The Sims 3 and The Sims 2 actually came with quite a bunch of stuff, but The Sims 4, you're gonna feel like you're missing out a little bit. But then, if you buy every game pass in Bloxburg, I think the total is about $20. Now, then you don't have money yet, or the special currency they use in Bloxburg, which is Blockbucks, that makes you be able to buy special items and stuff like that, but just the game passes and the game are about $20. If you want to buy more money or something like that, then yes, like $500,000 is $60, I think, so it can get quite expensive. But The Sims, there are so many expansion packs and stuff packs and kits, and I think in total right now, if you want to buy every single one of them, I think it comes out to about $900 for one game. So there's quite a price difference in it. You could buy a few million bucks in Bloxburg for that money, so that you would never have to work again. So it really comes down to what you prefer. Number 6. You can't have a family in Bloxburg unless you roleplay with others. So that's a big difference in gameplay. It really, if you are into family roleplay, I think The Sims 4 might be for you, even though it's offline. Because in Bloxburg, you actually have to go around and ask other online players to be part of your family if you wish to play as a family. Compared to The Sims, where you can just create your own family, you can create 2 parents, make them have a baby. In Bloxburg, there's no such thing as that, and that's kind of sad. But it would also be really hard to do. I mean, I would love to see NPC babies or something like that you have to take care of, like, your baby is hungry, go feed it, or something like that. But right now, that is not in the game. And in The Sims, you can go as wild as you want. You can also dress up your characters how you want them to look, instead of having online players sometimes look not like you want them to look. So it can be really hard to start a family in Bloxburg, and it has to be with other players, compared to in The Sims where you just make your own family. Number 7, and this is actually a little bit controversial, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Bloxburg has more customizability for builders. Now I will come back to that in number 13, but I feel like Bloxburg is more expansive when it comes to building the house you want, because there are more options to play around with. For example, the basic shapes, but then a very, very, very important one. In The Sims 4, if you want to paint an item, you are stuck with the color palettes you get. So for example, you like a counter a lot, but it does not come in the color that matches all of your other furniture. That's that. You cannot add that in another color. You get a few samples of color that you can pick from, and that's it. You cannot add your own custom color like you can in Bloxburg. In Bloxburg, you can also add all the materials to all the items if you wish to do so, or most items. So there's a lot more customizability there. There's also the ability to create slanted roofs if you wish to do so with the planks and stuff like that. In The Sims, you can also create a room under a roof, but it will be a lot harder to build it. And I feel like Bloxburg really nailed the building aspect compared to The Sims 4. And that's kind of sad to say, because I used to think The Sims 4 was a lot better. And then number 8, and this is something I have to keep in mind every single time, because sometimes I do build houses in The Sims, and then I want to copy them over in Bloxburg. Because sometimes in The Sims, it's easier for me to build something because there's less distractions, if that makes any sense. And something you have to keep in mind is that in Bloxburg, the beds are only 2 blocks long. So there's blocks on both games, like the little squares when you build. And in Bloxburg, the beds only are 2 squares long. And in The Sims, the beds are 3 squares long. And that really makes a difference if you make a small, tiny house, or just like a small bedroom or something like that. It makes a difference. That 1 block is really important to keep in mind. Then number 9. You only have 1 ceiling height in Bloxburg. In The Sims 4, if you build a room or like just like the bottom floor or the top floor, you can actually pick between 3 sizes of wall height. So you can make your height the normal wall height. You can put like a middle ground where it's like quite tall, but like not super tall. And then you have like the super tall wall that you can build. And in Bloxburg, if you want to have higher walls, you have to play around with basic shapes. It's a lot harder to do, and it's not as convenient as just clicking 1 button. Now, coming back to point number 2, number 10 is you work for your money, not your sim. So in point number 2, we mentioned the money cheats. Again, you work for your money in Bloxburg. So if you want to make money, you actually have to go to work yourself. You have to do the work all by yourself, for example, pizza delivery, and make money that way, compared to The Sims where you send your character to work. You can even skip the time if they're at work, and then they come back and they made money, and all you have to do is get their moods up. But when they go to work, you basically just wait until they get back, compared to Bloxburg where you have to go to work and actually spend hours and hours getting money. Unless you buy it, of course. Then number 11, there is only 1 town in Bloxburg. So as mentioned before, Bloxburg is online, so it would be kind of hard to create different cities that you can play in, although it would be possible, it would just be really hard to implement. While in The Sims, you have multiple worlds, and some game packs that you buy come with extra worlds. And that brings me to point 12, and that is the types of plots. So in Bloxburg, you only have one type of plot. It's a 50 by 50 grid that is completely flat. While in The Sims, you can actually get apartments. You can get just empty plots like in Bloxburg. You can live on the beach. You can live off grid, so you can turn off the electricity if you wish to do so. So there are a lot more options in The Sims when it comes to choosing your plots in different towns. And that's something I really like about The Sims. However, The Sims 4 was actually a disappointment compared to The Sims 3 because The Sims 3 had amazing worlds. While in The Sims 4, they can feel a little bit limited. However, it is still better than Bloxburg, where you only have one world with 12 of the same plots. But again, that's because it's online and it would be hard to do so. Then number 13, and again, referring to point number 7, but that is no terraforming. So in Bloxburg, you have no terraforming. Basically, if you want to create a mountain, you have to create it with a roof on the ground, paint that roof in the same color as your grass. If you want to create a pond, same thing. It's a lot of work to do so. You have to place a pool and then build around that pool to make it look more natural. While in The Sims, there's actually terraforming. So you can create a little mountain, a little hill. You can create a pond if you wish to do so. There's plants you can put on the water. And in that aspect, I think it's easier to make a garden in The Sims 4 than it is in Bloxburg, because gardens in Bloxburg are pretty limited. But then again, the houses make up for it. So they are really neck on neck when it comes to building. But I do prefer Bloxburg because of the customizability. But yeah, no terraforming. That kind of sucks. And again, also ties in with the terraforming. You cannot just paint nicely on the floor. Your floor is the color of the map, so the grass color in Bloxburg. If you want to make that different, you have to create floors. But there will always be angles, so you cannot create like a natural, flowy type of shape like you can in The Sims 4, where you can just paint on the ground. I thought that was important to mention as well, because that can be a deal breaker. Then number 15, quite important to me as well. If I play The Sims, I like to have generations, and you cannot have that in Bloxburg, because again, you are the player in Bloxburg. So in The Sims, you can actually have babies, have those babies grow up, have them have babies, and just create like a full generation tree of your family. I remember I used to have 18 generations in The Sims, and then my game file crashed and I lost the entire family. But when I play The Sims, I actually like to create families and go completely down the line with that family, because I do think it's nice to look back on what Sims you played with. While in Bloxburg, you are your character, you don't age, you can set your age, but it's not the same. Like, you can set your age to a teen, you can set your age to a baby, but you can always go back, and you don't really age in Bloxburg, and there's no generations that come after you. And then there is the player base. I feel like, I could be wrong here, but I feel like the player base for Bloxburg is a lot younger than the player base for The Sims, and that ties in with Bloxburg being on Roblox. Roblox is aimed towards 9 to 14-year-olds, something like that, while The Sims has more adults playing it, especially because it has existed for that long as well. And I feel like the Sims community is just a lot older than the Bloxburg community, but it's also a lot easier to see the community in Bloxburg because everything is online. And those were 16 differences between Bloxburg and The Sims 4. If I forgot any major ones, or you just want to add your own difference that triggers you or that you think is something that keeps you in one game, let me know in the comments below. That was it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button and please subscribe.